Just seems like yesterday.
It does. But tonight's going to be a little different. Now, each week we've been kind of together, digging into Scripture, but we have something super exciting to talk about tonight. And Pastor Ben, what is that we're talking about tonight?
We're going back to church.
We're going to church together?
Together.
So, Matt, when are we going back to church together?
So we are going back to church not this Sunday.
Not this Sunday?
Not the 24th.
So not the 24th, which is a few days from now.
We're going back to church the following Sunday, which is May 31st, the last Sunday in May. So
that about 11 days from now, 10, 11 days?
I'm not good at math. But
so what would happen if you came to church this Sunday?
So if you come to church this Sunday, you'll be early for our first service back together. However, as long as you knock on the door, there's not going to be anyone to come let you in. So unfortunately, you'll have to wait another week. So
they could come Sunday, but they'll wait 7 days to get into the...
7 days and 15 minutes.
There we go. Okay. So would that kind of be like Jericho? They could march around this place by, and then 7 times.
Please
we don't want the walls tumbling down.
No walls tumbling down.
Please do not march around.
I think we're having something super exciting happen tomorrow, and we got an opportunity for Meredith to tell us about it. So Meredith, we're going to turn it over to you for a second. Why don't you tell us about an exciting day in the kids ministry tomorrow?
So our Extreme Kids Ministry is hosting a drive-through summer celebration. We're going to have free snow cones from 1:30 to 3:30, and all you have to do is follow the balloon. So we hope to see you tomorrow.
All right, we're following balloons, snow cones. I heard that there may be a Dunkin' booth tomorrow.
That's the rumor. I'll see it when I believe it. However, I will be here for a snow cone.
You'll see it when you believe it? Or will you believe it when you see it?
I will, either one. I will be here for a snow cone.
All I know is come tomorrow because there'll be some cool people getting dunked. But also I think there's going to be a celebrity trying to dunk people. I don't know. At least he may have won some games in college. I don't know. In baseball, I don't know. We'll find out. Is it loose yet?
It's gonna be a struggle.
Already had a great cut fastball.
So here's what we're at tonight. We want to talk about May 31st, and that's what we're talking about. And so we're going to just hit the highlights. We want to get to your comments. We want you to ask questions. If there's anything you're like, man, I've been ready to be with you guys. I have some concerns or some questions. We'd love to dialogue. This is a good opportunity to dialogue. We're going to have your comments up on the screen as we see them flowing along. So just bring them our way, and we'll love to answer them. So I'm going to start, Pastor Ben, any bullet points, and then we'll kind of fill in as we go.
Yeah, Sean, and just I think just about everybody got their letter, but yeah, we're 31st. We'll be here. We'll do our services at 9 a.m. and 10:45. We'll open the doors 15 minutes before each service. So I know we got some folks you like to get here. You like to get to church real early, and that's great. But just so we can get everything set, we're not going to open the doors until 15 minutes before. So for the 9 a.m. service, that would be 8:45, and for the 10:45 service, that would be 10:30. And we'll have some folks helping us clean and sanitize after the 9 o'clock service. So we'll do that. Everything will be physically distanced. We want to come back to church, but we want to do it as safely as we can. And especially some folks are kind of nervous. Hey, can I come back? Will I be? Will everything be distanced? Yes, we'll even have some sanitizing stations as well. We'll have that for you. There will be no children's church. We won't be doing a nursery, and we won't be having Sunday school on campus for at least for a little while, just to make sure that we're doing all the protocols that we need to do for distancing. We'll have for your offering, we won't pass a plate. There'll be an offering box in the foyer, and that'll be very evident and easy to see. What else? I think that's about the highlights of what we're going to do.
All right.
Okay, let me say this. We've often been accustomed to have a greeting time in the middle of the service. Some folks might be a little nervous about that. Understand we're not going to do that for the time being, just to kind of so everybody can can just kind of so we can physically distance, and those who aren't comfortable with doing that, don't fear not. We will not be doing a greeting time.
Is any thoughts you got on what's coming up?
No, just kind of as Brother Ben said, there are some things that will be different from our typical services. So yes, we'll be able to meet together in person. We're so looking forward to that, but because of all the the health concerns and all that, we are taking every precaution that we can possibly take. And so that's why we want to do tonight, because some things will be the same, but there will be some things that are different. And so we just kind of want you to know what to expect when you arrive, so that just so that we can all kind of be on the same page. And just again, we're doing everything that we can to comply and to be good stewards. There's biblical concepts in this as well. It's not just, hey, we think we're going to do this today. I mean, we've put a lot of time, discussion, meetings into this. We've consulted what are other churches doing, and we've done a lot of research, not to pat ourselves on the back, but it's just to say that we take this seriously. And so some things people might not like, or kind of like, well, why can't we just do this? And we're probably right there with you as far as we wish we could do certain things. But I promise you, everything that we're doing has been thought out. Now, it doesn't mean it's perfect. From week 1 to week 2, I'm sure there'll be things that will adjust and change just because, we didn't think about that. But as far as the big scale, major programming and structures and schedules, we feel like we've done our part and our due diligence. And so I say all that to say, we're excited to see you guys, but also, be patient and just, work with us, because we're all on the same team. We're all working together, and we're all excited about this, but at the same time, we want to be as responsible as we can as well.
It's good. So here's how like I said, we'd love to have some questions for you. I'm going to kind of play this as a place where I'll ask you questions, since we don't send any, that I've heard, and I'll let you answer my questions, even though I know the answers to them. I think that we'll get it started. So if you got anything you'd like to ask, feel free to chime in. Well, here's my first question. What happens if I want to come to the first service and I get there a little early? What happens if I get here at 8:30?
I mean, I'll answer. And so, as Brother Ben mentioned, our doors will be locked until 15 minutes before. And part of the reason for that is, again, it's just we know the temptation. We're excited to see everybody, but we want to, as best as possible, we want to discourage congregating just because it's harder to safely distance and all that kind of stuff. And so we know, we feel like 15 minutes before is plenty of time to come in, get situated, wave to the person across the gym or whatever it may be. But we just don't want to allow too much time, because then we're going to, break barriers and distances and stuff. And, under normal circumstances, that's what we want. But in this case, we kind of have to comply with certain situations. But the big thing is, especially for the second service. So if you show up at 8:30, just remain in your car. You'll see the doors open. We're actually going to prop the glass doors open when we meet in the gym. All the doors will be opened, and so that will eliminate you having to open the door. But once those doors are open, if you see the glass doors open, then okay, I can go inside. But if you get here at 8:30, the doors are shut. Just hang out in your car. Be a great time to read your Bible or pray or prepare yourself for worship, because that's why we're here, not just to wave to people, but we're here to worship. And so to come in and to kind of get our minds right and to prepare ourselves for worship. So if you get here early, we encourage you to do that, but doors will remain locked until 15 minutes before.
Well, and good job with that. It's always good to pray before worship. That's and try to adjust your Sunday morning where you're not just coming in just tires squealing, just where you can just kind of catch your breath and be ready for worship. Now, one thing that we will have is we'll have a greeting team, and what they will do, they'll not only greet you, we won't have bulletins or anything like that, trying to practice safety in that way. But the greeter will greet you, and they will help you find a seat.
So they will greet you and seat you.
That's right.
All right, I like that.
That there's a sermon in that. But we won't preach it today. But they'll greet you at the front, and you'll notice the chairs are already spaced, and they will help you find a seat. So just be ready for that. And again, if like you come in and say, "Well, I didn't gel my hands," or "I want to gel my hands," we've got that covered for you.
And I'll just ask Pastor Sean this again. I think I know the answer, but just kind of as we've talked and planned, it's crazy because we don't often think about seating arrangements, other than hopefully someone doesn't have their pew and they kick someone else out of it. But Pastor Sean, what can we expect when we come back about we aren't going to have our favorite pew or where we always sit because we're going to be in a different location. But what can we expect just from a seating standpoint?
I'll tell you one of the most interesting things as we were setting up the chairs I found was the furthest away chair in the Family Life Center that we've set up right now is closer than halfway back in our sanctuary. So there's not really going to be a bad seat in there.
There's not a bad seat in the house.
You can that's right. So I'm excited about that. What we did is we divided our rows. I think there's 6 rows that we set up. And what we did was we did rows of 2 socially distanced and rows of 5 socially distanced. And so their family and then small, so we didn't waste as many chairs. But what we can do, if you got a family of 7, we can just take 2 from the side and slide them down. We'll show you how we do that. But we can accommodate, either way. That's kind of how the seats are. Now, I would tell you a difference. Everyone has been to church, is used to walking to church, and no matter whether it's a fan-shaped church or a shotgun-shaped church, you see rows of pews or rows of chairs, and you see aisles. Well, in this situation, it's not going to look like that. We'll have a center aisle because that's where we've spaced off. But after that, everything's kind of staggered and moved. And so that's why it'll be important for our greeters to be well-trained to show you, hey, these are areas that'll work for you good. And just please be appreciative of them giving their time and moving. So that's kind of how the seating will go, and that's good. So, Ms. Susan, you've asked, will we have congregational singing through our Mass? So we will do congregational singing. What we'll ask is, and as far as I want to, that was kind of be one of my next questions is, is it okay to wear a mask?
Absolutely.
And so what we talked about last night in our choir is it's going to be BYOM. Bring your own mask. We're not going to provide masks, but anyone that wants to wear a mask, it'll be perfectly fine. And actually, I'll just kind of follow up that, Miss Susan, is as far as the service and how it'll flow. We'll start the service 5 minutes before with a 5-minute countdown, just like we do every week before online, because we do understand that we're going to have some people that aren't going to feel comfortable yet to come back, and we'll want them to be watching on Facebook Live or YouTube or whatever platform they're using. And so because of that, we'll want everything to sync up good. So we'll still do a 5-minute countdown to go on Facebook Live. It'll also be going, though, on the screen in the church. And the first thing we'll have is a video announcement. That'll kick off the service. And then we'll go into some worship time. And it'll be a shorter worship time. We'll probably condense it down to about the first 10 minutes. It'll just be congregational singing. We're working with our choir. They'll start the first week in June of being up there in groups of 4 different groups, and it's kind of a smaller setting so we can social distance on the stage. But our service we'll get to this. We'll try to keep our service about an hour because we need to. Why? I'm going to ask you guys. So if I'm coming at 10:45, can I expect the 10:45 service to be as clean and sanitized as the 9 o'clock service?
Absolutely, and Matt will elaborate on that.
So this goes back to why doors will also remain locked until 15 minutes before. So because, again, of all the responsibilities that we feel, to keep everyone safe as much as possible, we will have a cleaning team who will be, we're already in the works of putting that team together. They will be trained. They will have a checklist working alongside of feedback from our own custodians here. And they will be trained to specific zones and areas within the church where they will clean those zones week in and week out. And so the service will be, or the chairs and everything will be cleaned between the 9 a.m. service and the 10:45 service. So that's one reason why the shortened not service, but shortened song service in the first service so that we can be done at 10 o'clock. And then if doors open 15 minutes before 10:45, that's 30 minutes that we have. So we're going to clean. Our cleaning team will clean in that 30 minutes. Everything will be wiped down. Bathrooms will be cleaned. Everything will be cleaned between services. And so that's kind of the reason for the condensed areas of the service in some ways, but also, that's why we want doors to stay locked, because if we're trying to clean, we don't necessarily want people coming in and out, because then it's harder to keep up with what's clean and what's not.
And one of the things I want to give you a heads up on, at the end of the service, in the end of both services, we'll do it the same way. Don't be surprised when Pastor Ben ends the service and he says amen. Our sound team's going to start music playing, and the music's going to be a little louder than you're able to have a conversation. And there's a reason. We want that to be moving out music, to say this is not the place to stay and talk, because you got to respect, especially thinking that first service, you got to respect that we want to be able to start that second service on time, and especially our volunteers that are given their time each week to come and clean before. We want to give them plenty of time to feel like they do an excellent job in what they're doing. So don't want you to be surprised when a song starts playing and you're like, wow, that's a little louder. And there's a reason for it, and it's to remind us that it's time to move out of the service. So I got another question. I know it probably would work best for the person behind the table, but is it okay if I come and my kids may have been cooped up now for all this time, and I want to bring them, but I don't know how they're going to do in a church service. You've already said you don't have nursery or children's. So what happens if my kid may be a little bit overactive?
All right. I'm getting. I was
We
going to say.
wanted to do the debut of
I was going to say I was getting the finger, but that would be misleading. So I was getting the point of me do it. So
like that.
This goes back to a lot of time and energy, meeting and planning. And so again, I promise you, we have spent a lot of time. Not that we're perfect, but we have tried to plan for every situation that we could encounter. And so here's how I'll say this: we encourage you to come, and we encourage you to bring your children. Absolutely. One of the benefits of having a condensed service is that the parts of the service will move along a little quicker. And so, during congregational singing, that's an involvement time that, hopefully a child is, able to interact with, and they don't have to sit there quiet and still. But sometimes, depending on the age of a child, they can get a little fidgety. And so we have a couple different options. The first one is Meredith has planned for, and we'll hand out bags that every child will get on the way into the service. And in that will be some activities and some things to keep a child occupied if, they begin to fidget, or, just kind of, like Pastor Sean said, most kids have been cooped up for a while. They're going to have energy. They're going to see people. And so we expect all those things, and we welcome all those things. So they'll receive a bag with children's bulletin, some crayons, and even some stuff to kind of just play with and occupy some of their time. If it gets to where you feel like, I'm really not sure if my child's becoming a distraction, that's okay. We will actually open up the conference room especially for young babies who maybe are getting hungry or tired and they begin to cry or fuss. We'll open up the conference room. This will be a place where we won't have nursery staff, but you can bring a child in, or a grandparent or whoever can bring a child in. We have rockers in here if the baby needs to go to sleep. We have the couches will be moved in here. We'll have some things for them to do. This is just a place where you can, bring your child if you just feel like, I'm not sure, maybe, they just need to get out some energy or whatever it may be. So we will have that available. So we encourage you to bring your children. We want them to be a part of the service. We want them to be able to come. We don't want that to be a hindrance or a deterrent for you to come to the service.
So at the same time, though, if you bring your child into the room, there's going to be a TV in there playing the service through the stream that'll be going, so you wouldn't have to miss any of the service if you came in here. Now, we did say, because we sat in them today, just if you want a nap, don't come and sit on the couch and just a nap. There's a purpose for the room, and watch for Pastor Matt and see if he's sliding off in this way or not. So another question. I got a letter at my house, and it was from you, Pastor Ben, and there was this crazy postcard in it.
Yeah.
and I'm not done mailing forever. What do I need to do with this postcard and why?
Well, we need you to mail it.
Is it going to cost me anything?
Not going to cost you anything.
How come?
Because we already put a stamp.
Oh,
on
okay.
it. That would be a that would be a stamped card for you to mail. It's got the address on there and everything. And what we need you to do is check which service you're attending. And I've had some people say, well, I didn't have a place to sign my name. If it doesn't matter that you sign the name. We just need to know who's coming, or whether it's which service you're coming to, and also
How many was on
and
there?
how many as well. So please send us that card, because we're trying to get an idea of how staffing each service. So we'd appreciate you doing that. And again, please bring your youngins. We want them here. We love children, and but we've already made provision for them. But again, if they see a gym and they have trouble holding still. When I was a kid and I was in a gym, I had trouble holding still too. But we've made provision for them on that. But please send in the card. Please do that. That would help us.
Yeah, and another reason we need it is each room, the Family Life Center, the way it's set up right now, it'll hold 150 people socially distanced. And so if we hope we're full in both, but if one of them is more full than the other, then we want to make some adjustments so we can stay socially distant, be prepared for that. So we really need your response. And if you've already sent yours in and you've got some ways to just put it out there, encourage others too. And that'll help us. So, another thought I wanted to ask is, what about the person that may be watching just feels like, I don't feel like it's time for me to come back? What would we want to say to those folks?
I would say if you are, the CDC has outlined, people who are high risk or, at risk or whatever it may be. If you're in that category, by all means, we are not saying you have to be here. Use your best judgment. If you don't feel comfortable coming, then that's why we're live streaming. That's why we're going to show this online. Continue to watch on your couch and continue to worship in the freedom of your home. So by all means, don't feel like you are being coerced into this. You use your judgment. And if you're in that vulnerable population or at risk or high risk, then by all means don't feel like you have to come. And we would encourage you not to. Again, we want to be responsible. We want to be safe. But what we do want to show is that if you're just kind of not sure, maybe you're not in that vulnerable group outlined by the CDC, but you're just not sure because of, I really haven't been to a restaurant, I haven't been to the grocery store in 2 months, it just kind of feels weird, I'm not sure if I should go or not. Here's what we want to do. We just want to show you that we are taking every precaution possible on our end. And we want to give you peace of mind so that if you feel like, okay, I think I'm going to go, we want to give you just peace of mind that you can come, that you can worship, that we can do this in person. And we just, we want you to have a peace of mind to do that. So that's why we're explaining this tonight. That's why we've talked about it, planned around it. We just want to do everything that we can. So, we just encourage you to use your best judgment. And hopefully we'll see you, but if not, then we'll see you whenever you feel ready, and that's fine by us.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable, or if you're at risk and you don't want to, I don't know, am I sinning against the Lord? If I know you're not. But on the flip side, if you're, there have been a few folks you go, I like just kind of watching in my PJs and my coffee or my Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries, whatever it is you do. But you're not at risk and you're not really worried about it. There's no internal compulsion not to come, but you need to be here. You need to come. We want what an awesome situation we would have if the sanctuary will be sanctuary for Sunday, but the gym where we had seating was too full for both services, and we had to use the overflow, which Pastor Sean and Matt and Ryan has just done an awesome job providing for us, and Meredith's helped us up there as well. We have an overflow in our youth area. So say that we have 175 both services, which would be awesome. We've got really excellent overflow provisions for that, something we did not have before. So I appreciate your hard work on that,
That's
Pastor
good.
Sean.
That's good. So, making sure. When are we coming back together? Is it which Sunday?
I don't think it's next Sunday.
It's not this Sunday.
No, it's not this
So
Sunday.
remember, because we want to say this a lot of times because we're talking about it. We don't want people in the parking lot Sunday saying, "Why aren't they here?" It's not the 24th.
Right.
It's the 31st.
Right.
So I got a question, one more question. I think we're wrapping up. If anybody else has a question before we get out of here, feel free to ask. You know, I have a tough time learning by just listening. And we've been just talking. Is there going to be anything to help me know what's going on between now and next Sunday that might help me in a more visual way?
As a matter of fact, there will be.
Wow. I can't believe that was the answer to my question.
So we will actually be posting a video kind of as we're describing this, a video that visually demonstrates what you can expect. So in this video, you'll see, a shot of what the gym looks like, how it's set up. So you'll see, as Pastor Sean alluded to earlier, there's family seating and then there's kind of individual seating. And so you'll be able to see that and kind of plan for that. You'll be able to see the conference room that we were talking about that will be set up for parents who might want to bring a child in. You'll be able to see the overflow room. You'll be able to see the hand sanitizer stations. You'll be able to see the Dropbox offering, which we can explain that if we need to in a little more detail. But you'll be able to visualize all this stuff as well. So we hope that you'll listen. We also hope that those of you who are listening, that you'll pass this word along. Because word of mouth is huge, and so some people might not see this. They might not have, somehow misplaced the letter and didn't get to read the letter. Whatever it may be, one thing we've learned is you cannot over-communicate in these times. And so the more times that we get this out, the better. Tell people in your Sunday school class, tell your friends who you normally see at church or talk to. Just help us spread the word. But also, next week, early in the week, we will do a geared towards families and parents, again, visualizing maybe in a little more detail what you can expect for your child. So again, we want you to bring your children. We won't have normal children's church or nursery, but we are planning for them to have opportunities to engage in the service and to be involved. And so we'll also produce a video early next week that you'll see that will kind of highlight some of those things as well. So again, our encouragement is that you would hear it, that you got the letter, but in case something's just not clicking or you're having a hard time visualizing it, that you'll be able to see it so that you know what to expect when you walk through the doors that first Sunday.
Well, I don't see any other questions to answer. Is there any last words you'd like to share with us, Pastor Ben, before we
You
get out
guys
of here?
did a great job helping us see what to expect, and I'm looking forward to what further we'll get to see, just where everything is and what it's going to look like, kind of what's kind of as best as we can tell what it's going to feel like. But just keep praying and praying for us, and we'll keep praying for you. And we're going to have church on 31st, and not this coming Sunday. It would be the last Sunday of the month, the 31st. So please come, and again, and if you want to bring somebody to church, bring them. Bring a guest by all means. But we are. I really appreciate Pastor Sean, Pastor Matt, all that Meredith has done, all that Ryan has done. Brianna's helped us as well. They've done a wonderful job, and all that Sissy and Wendy have done in the office just to help us get everything going from there. And a lot has gone into preparing for getting us ready to come back. And it's just neat as a pastor just to watch everybody and their gifts and their passion, and I just try to stay out of the way and do what they tell me. But it's going to be a wonderful Sunday, and we're expecting God to move. We're going to worship God. We're going to glorify the risen Christ together as His people, and it's going to be a special time. You don't want to miss it.
So just as we're wrapping up, I want to remind everybody, don't forget what Meredith talked about to start off with. Tomorrow, they'll have a summer celebration for the kids as they're kicking off summer. Snow cones and a Dunkin' booth, 1:30 to 3:30. That's tomorrow. And also, Matt, I'll give you a chance as we're fixing to go to share about what we're celebrating Sunday.
Yeah, so before I get to that, I do want to give a shout out to Brianna Shear, who is typically here on Thursday nights, helping us on Thursdays, but she's not here tonight because today is her 22nd birthday. And so if you could do us all a favor on Facebook, add her as a friend if you haven't already. Write on her wall, comment on her stuff. Happy birthday to Brianna. We thank you for all that you've done to help us on Thursday nights. Right. But just as we close, so this Sunday, we're not meeting in person, just to be clear. But what we are doing is very special, and we are going to honor and recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of our class of 2020 seniors. This has been a crazy time for all of us, but if you can imagine maybe back to your senior year, it's kind of the highlight of your high school career. All of these accomplishments are about to come to a pinnacle, and you've reached this moment that you've worked 12 years to achieve, and then to lose much of pretty much an entire semester or 9 weeks of your schooling with your friends and some of the things that you look forward to celebrating. And so this has been a trying time for seniors. And so we want to do everything that we can to honor them, to encourage them, because not only is it trying times now, but as many of us can remember, this is a pivotal moment for many people. I know in my life, it was kind of like the rubber meets the road and it's time to grow up a little bit. But in the process, you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to study? What kind of job am I going to go into? I need to find a job, but right now nobody's hiring. I mean, there's just a lot of uncertainty and questions anyway. And then, you put COVID-19 on top of it. And so I say that to encourage you to support our seniors, to join us Sunday as we honor them, but also continue to pray for them. Pray for guidance, pray for wisdom, pray for comfort. As crazy as that sounds, to have your senior year kind of abruptly end, it can be discouraging. And so just keep them in mind and help us honor them Sunday. And so we hope that you'll tune in on YouTube or Facebook or on the website. Same time, 10:45 as we live stream our service, but it will be special because we'll get to honor our 2020 seniors.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for joining us again tonight. I'm going to close this with a word of prayer, and I hope you guys have a great Thursday, and we'll see you Sunday. God, thank you for just being able to be together. I'm so excited, God, that Sunday we get to worship. Yes, we're excited about the 31st, but we don't want to waste any time that we get to honor and glorify the name of Jesus. So this Sunday, the 24th, as we join together, God, I pray that our hearts are focused on you. And then, God, as you have allowed us, God, to join back together, I pray we will, as we're coming here to Westwood on the 31st. God, what an awesome time to remember what we've missed. God, to be able to be reminded, God, that the blessing we always talk about in our country of the blessing of freedom, to be able to gather together, God. God, that is something from you that you've provided. And God, I tell you, as much as we talk about it, we take it for granted. And God, I pray that in our hearts we'll be reminded of what a special gift we have, that we get to join together. And so, God, I pray that it would be a mighty time of rejoicing and blessing and the lifting up the name of Jesus. Now go with us. God, I pray we'll do much for your kingdom this week. In your name I pray. Amen. Bye, guys.